Hi, how are you today? This is Darren from EnglishTuition.org and I'm the English tutor. In today's video, I want to share with you the story of how I actually got into teaching. My background is actually not in teaching, okay, but in IT, right? I studied I was from Jurong Primary School, okay, then eventually I went to River Valley High School, and I went to Jurong Junior College and eventually got a degree from NUS, National University of Singapore, with a Bachelor of Arts and Social Sciences. However, I find that I was really interested in technology at that time. Okay, then I decided to pursue a career that is somewhat related to technology, because that was the time when the internet was up and rising. And during that time, you will be surprised to hear that when I was still studying in NUS, we had the 56K modem, right? That we have to dial up for internet access. 56K is a very slow speed compared to the blazing fast speeds that we have nowadays. Okay, and students will find it hard to imagine, how do we even survive on such a slow internet connection. So those are the days that I was growing up with. So once I've decided that I wanted to do something that's related to the internet, so I learned to do my own web pages. I was able to code a little bit with HTML and eventually move on to some learning up some Windows coding with Active Server pages, and move on to database programming with SQL and MySQL with PHP. Then I was happily doing my job, okay, in the IT sector for more than a decade, right? And I felt that if I am to stay in that line, okay, the money is definitely better than teaching, right? But then when I was in my mid-30s, right, I realized that maybe deep down somewhere there is something inside me that was stirring, right? So I wasn't very satisfied with what I was doing anymore, because I was spending long hours in front of a computer, just working, on projects after projects after projects. I felt burnt out, and I also felt that I wasn't as passionate about the IT industry anymore. Okay, because I think technology is a very fast-moving industry, and it is very suitable, for young, energetic people, okay, who have a strong interest in technology. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very much interested in technology. I still follow and catch up with the latest technological advances. What is happening to our smartphone industry. I'm still very much into that. But I felt that there's something else that I need to explore within myself, and that was teaching. So what got me started was that I didn't straight away apply to the Ministry of Education to be a teacher. I got myself a part-time assignment, right, just to teach a boy who is staying near my house in English. Okay, I got the assignment when the boy was about to take his PSLE, and the parents told me upfront that, no, don't worry, you just come and teach my boy, right? The PSI results, we know you don't have enough time. It's not going to be your responsibility. Just come and teach my son. Okay, and I started teaching the boy. And the boy has a couple of more siblings. A primary 1 girl and a primary 2 boy. Okay, and I was explicitly clear to the parent that I only teach upper primary and above, because I felt that the content is just a bit too shallow. That for me to be interested in, I wanted to teach more challenging stuff. And so I told the parents that I'm only interested in teaching the older boy, because he will be taking his secondary school syllabus, and I can teach him writing, and the more advanced stuff. However, that's after a while, the parents actually got the 2 younger siblings a new tutor. Okay, but the tutor, for some reason, the assignment did not work out. So the parent approached me again and asked me. By that time, I have already tutored the older boy for a few months, so the family knows me. they trust me a bit more, okay, and then they know that I'm doing a pretty decent job at teaching the elder son. So they asked me again that if I would teach the two younger kids. So after considering, I said yes, because they sounded very sincere, and I thought if I could help the two younger siblings as well to help them improve on their English, why not, right? So that was my very first tuition assignment, right? The details of it, okay, how it went out, might as well share it with you now, right? So what happened during those lessons was that the elder child actually improved very fast. So what I discovered about him was that he has a very strong advantage. He likes reading, okay? Unlike many of my students who hated reading, okay, this particular boy liked reading, right? He likes reading, and he will always have his storybooks, you know, and he just enjoyed the stories, okay? But unfortunately, there's no one to guide him, okay, as to what are the things that he should look out for. So I provided him with that guidance, and it worked out pretty well. So by the end of 6 months, okay, when he took his semester assessment, 1 midyear exam, okay, and then that was the time that he got satisfactory results, which is works out to be an A2, right? A distinction, and was very surprised because he got a B in his PSA English, and his foundation is, you know, considered not to be on the good side, right? So to get an A2, okay, in Sec 1 after slightly more than 6 months of tuition is an excellent result, okay. Unfortunately, I have to end the assignment because I was about to start my teaching stint with the Ministry of Education, right? So I had to go through the usual rounds of interviews. I think that's another interesting story which that I'm going to share with you now. So I didn't know how teaching in a school would feel like, right? And I'm seriously considering having a long and enduring career within the MOE, because you think about the compensation, right? Teachers, they don't get rich, okay, but they are fairly compensated, and the pay wise is considered reasonable, right? For fresh grads who are considering teaching, okay, if you go into teaching, the MOE website actually states explicitly that fresh grad will get about $3,000 gross, alright? And then, because I'm a mid-career changer, so I go in, okay, as, during my mid-career, and they have some kind of formula to calculate the compensation based on the number of working experience, the number of years of working experience that you have. So the longer the working experience that you have, the higher your starting pay would be. And if you have relevant teaching experience, then I think maybe they use a higher multiplier or something, and you will get higher pay, right? So after going through the rounds of interviews, I think at that time they were not so much in need of English teachers, but they were in need of physical education teachers, right? So they just offered me English and PE, okay, and I think the interviewers were quite skeptical as to whether I can pass the fitness test for, in order to be a PE teacher, because at that time I was, into my late 30s already, right? And when I go there and take my fitness test, most of the people in the group were like maybe 10 years younger than me, right? So I myself have doubts, right, whether I can pass the fitness test. So fortunately, the result came back positive, managed to pass. By then, I've already cleared the first interview, and we were just more or less waiting to formalize the entire thing, right? So they just told me that if I pass the test, then maybe I stand a chance. So I'm kind of thinking that so I still have a chance, right? So when I passed the test, I submitted my results, and they just came back and with the offer, right? And I think my pay at that time was, I can say anything I want because I don't work for MOE now, right? So my pay around that time was about $4,000 gross, okay? So $4,000 may not seem a lot, alright? But if you consider the civil servant bonuses that they get every so often, I think it works out to be a pretty decent pay package. Okay, you don't get very wealthy by teaching. Okay, and if money is your main motivator for going into teaching, then it should not be the case, right? You should go there with the heart to really want to try and help the students and help, to guide the students, right? I think that should be the main motivator, not the money aspect. All right. So when I went to teach in government school, okay, the school that I was posted to was Suchin Secondary School. I think now is no longer existent because I think it has merged with some other secondary school. Like, if I remember correctly, it's Yuhua Secondary School. So that secondary school is no longer around, I think. Yeah. So in any case, I was posted there to be a contract teacher. Okay. To teach English and PE. Right. So for me, my main objective for being there is to see how the school is being run, and to observe the other teachers and to learn from them, right? And to see and to assess at the same time to see whether this is something that I would like to pursue in the long run. Now, what I've observed there, okay, there are good things and there are bad things, right? So let's talk about the good things first, alright? The good thing about teaching in government school is that, of course, you have a very stable paymaster, right? Which is the government, essentially, right? Ministry of Education. They are the paymasters, and they pay you. And during the school holidays, yes, some teachers may have to go back for events, extra lessons, and so on. But every year, June holidays, December holidays, the routine is rather relaxed, right? Compared to a full-time job. I think those with working experience out there in the private sector, you know how stressful these jobs can be, right? And there's a very little downtime, okay, for people to relax and rest. But for teachers working, in the MOE during the holidays, yeah, they actually do get quite a bit of downtime. And in fact, because they are earning a decent amount of money, they can afford to travel. So most teachers, I don't know whether you have any friends who are in this profession, if most teachers actually have the habit of traveling almost every single year because they can afford and they have the time, right? So doesn't sound too much like a bad deal, right? So why did I not sign a contract and continue teaching in MOE for the long term? For a few reasons. Now let's talk about the not so good things. All right. Despite the fact that teachers get good holidays to rest, okay, but during term time, it can be stressful. But stress is not a primary consideration, right? Because stress is something that exists in every profession, right? But I'm more concerned with the activities that the teacher are engaged in. Okay, but I observe that a lot of the time, the teachers are spending so much time on the operational issue and the administrative issues of the school, to the point that anyway, that's my personal opinion, to the point that, they're spending so little teaching time, okay, with their students. So, from my own observations, most of the time, the focus is not so much on the teaching. The focus is more on the administration and the running of the school. Teachers have to contend with CCA, their form teacher duties, okay, and CCA sometimes, if you are in a sports CCA and then there are competitions and you need to bring the kids out to competition and the kind of stuff. And then you have to do a lot of marking, obviously, right? Because being in a school, huge groups of students that you teach at one go, so you have to do a lot of marking and planning for the lessons. A lot of all these admin stuff, right, that comes into play. So I am comparing my experience as a part-time private tutor with the experience that I have, as a full-time teacher in a government school. And then I realized that actually I kind of miss the close interaction that I have with the kids. Now the kids are the primary reason why I decide to go into teaching in the first place. And my primary motivation for going to teaching is to find students who really need my help, okay, and try to really help them, okay, because I know they are out there and I know that there are kids who are struggling badly, right, and there's no one around to help them. And for some reason, their school teachers may not be as effective, right? For example, the class may be too big, too noisy, they may have peers that distract them from their learning or for whatever reason, right? And my primary goal for going into teaching is to try and find these students, flush them out, and do my best to help them. Okay, so when I teach in school, I find that there's still a relatively huge gap between a teacher and student. I think primary reason is because in every class we have about 30 to 40 students, so that's a pretty big class. So we can't really divide our attention, for each and every single one of them. And even if we do, we may be accused of favoritism, right? So then that's not the ideal situation, right? So which is why I still, until today, prefer a small group teaching arrangement. And my teaching style, my students have feedback to me that is very different from what they see in other tuition centers, right? My style is a lot more personal. Okay, I like to try and understand the child so that I know how to help them, right? So it's not just going out there and present the knowledge, make a very colorful or fanciful presentation and then call it a day. So it's not as simple as that, right? Anyway, that's my teaching style. So that's one reason why I decided not to teach in MOE. And another reason is because I realized that when I was working there, I'm not the only mid-career changer. I have a few other colleagues who are mid-career changers as well. And because we are mid-career changers, we have a wealth of working experience before we even join the teaching profession in MOE, right? So there's some kind of misalignment of perceptions there because we are new, right? And the teachers over there treat us like new fresh grad teachers who don't know anything about working in the real world. And what I find amusing is that very frequently they will be telling us stuff that we already know, okay, and stuff that they themselves, I know that they are not very competent in, and they're pretending that they are very good in those areas. For example, you have a so-called senior teacher telling us about how the school servers work and that. And I know my colleague, right, who has been in the IT industry for more than, I think, close to 2 decades, right? And he's very familiar with this stuff. And he come and we were joking about it, right? And he comes and tell me that, so and so was telling him giving him technical tips about how the servers and computers work. Yeah, I think that they have good intentions, right? That they are trying to help, right? But that's, just unfortunately there's just some misalignment there. Okay, but the reason why that's another reason why I did not want to continue teaching in MOE is because I find that I have this background, okay, these skills, okay, that I can utilize if I am a private tutor, right? For example, you see me making a video right here, and I have that freedom. Okay, if I work for MOE, because they are the paymasters, they make the rules, I have to follow them. I don't have a choice unless I don't want the job anymore. Right? For example, I cannot just go up and talk to a reporter freely. Now, talking to the media is strictly not allowed, right? Because the MOE wants to stay very clean. They don't want any bad press, and only school leaders are allowed to communicate with the media, right? So if I see a reporter, I have to zip and then turn the other way, right? But as a private tutor, I have no such restrictions, right? And because MOE have their own rules about how to do certain things and stuff, which I think in any big organization, they will always have these rules in place. That's fair enough. So I've decided that it's not an environment that is very suitable for me, because if I want to come out with more innovative techniques, okay, to teach the child or the children, I don't have to worry about getting into trouble with the MOE, right? I can put up my own videos. I can try out the flipped classroom experience which I have. Okay, I can spring surprise test on my children or on my students if I want to, right? I can do all these kind of things, right, without having to worry about the rules that are imposed by the Ministry of Education, right? And so far, the results of my students have been very encouraging. Okay, the feedback that I've got from them has been very encouraging. I told you about the first student which I took on. He's got A2, and after that, subsequent assignments, parents have come back to me and give me very positive feedback. In fact, there are a couple of other assignments which I have dropped because of my MOE stints. They come back, call me right after that, and ask me if I was able to go back and continue the assignments. Okay, unfortunately, by then I've already committed to some other assignments, and I wasn't able to work with them any further, right? And because of all this positive feedback and support that I get, which is what launched me into full-time tuition, which I've been doing for the past 2 years plus. So including my MOE teaching, this year will be my 4th year of teaching, and next year will be my 5th year. So we are in the middle of the year, June 2018, and very soon this year will come to an end, and I will have another good teaching year next year. So yeah, there you have it. That's my story of how I ventured into teaching, and how I'm still enjoying my teaching. And that's all thanks to the support and encouragement that I get from my students and their parents, right? And hopefully I can continue to work with more kids to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. Alright, that's all I have to say in this video. I hope you have enjoyed the story. The video is getting a bit long. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. And if you enjoyed the content, do remember to share it with your friends. If you like to see more videos just like this one, okay, every now and then I will just post up random videos talking about issues related to parents, students, and teaching in general. Okay, do subscribe to our channel, or just head over to our Facebook page and follow us there. Right, I will leave the links somewhere below the video. Alright, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for listening, and to all the parents out there, thank you so much for your kind support and for your encouragement, and I will continue to do my best to help your children succeed. Have a nice day.